What if Suicide Squad met Mushishi and everyone got brutally folded but make it aesthetic? We're talking about Hell's Paradise Jikokuraku, Season 1. First things first, let's set the stage. We're in the Edo period in Japan when the shogun is having a colossal midlife crisis. He needs to live forever, like yesterday. So naturally, he hears rumors of a legendary island southwest of the Ryukyu kingdom called Shinsenko, or Tengen, a place supposedly filled with the elixir of life. Now, 5 whole teams of brave, well-meaning people have gone to this island, and you know what happened to all 5 of them? They vanished. Poof. Gone. So what's the shogunate's brilliant, incredibly efficient, and highly moral solution? Send the absolute worst human beings they can find, death row convicts. They are completely expendable trash, but if one of them somehow survives the unspeakable horrors and brings back the elixir, they get a full pardon. It's the ultimate don't quit your day job, but if you do, please die trying scenario. High risk, 0 downsides for the government, and honestly peak efficiency. And who is the face of this suicidal reality show? Gabimaru the Hollow. This dude is a legend. He is the strongest, most ruthlessly efficient ninja assassin ever produced by the Iwagakure village. A prodigy of pain and destruction. He was so good that they called him the Hollow because of his supposed utter lack of emotion during his gruesome work, except that the entire premise of the show is a hilarious contradiction. Gabimaru wants to die. The shogunate tries to execute him repeatedly by beheadings, burning, stretching, stabbing, and every time, his absurdly trained superhuman body subconsciously refuses to croak. Why? Well, because Gabimaru the Hollow, the world's most terrifying killer, is secretly powered by the purest, most debilitating force known to man: love for his wife, Yui. He was betrayed by his own chief after seeking to cut ties and live a normal life with his wife, who just happened to be the chief's daughter. He wants to go home, quit the ninja life, and be a respectable, non-hollow husband. It's genius. The deadliest man on the planet is kept alive by the most relatable, domestic commitment. He's basically John Wick, but his dog is a cute girl, and his only goal is finding inner peace and maybe making a nice pot of tea. Every single impossibly violent feat that he pulls off is just a desperate attempt to shorten his commute back to Yui. As his voice actor puts it, he's doing it for love. That is his whole mindset. Enter Yamada Asaemon Sagiri. Sagiri is his assigned executioner, a master swordswoman, but she is constantly fighting an internal war, which is honestly the most relatable thing in the whole anime. She's burdened by low self-esteem and pervasive feelings of inadequacy, because she's a woman in a role historically dominated by men. She spends the first 3 episodes basically in a tug-of-war with her own mind, constantly questioning if she's too hesitant, too soft, or too emotional to properly behead people. But here is the actual core of the series. Gabimaru, the ultimate cynic and killer, sees right through her self-doubt and recognizes her true skill, paying her the respect that she desperately needs. That connection, the killer respecting the executioner who's supposed to kill him, is the unlikely philosophical bond that drives the whole plot forward. Sagiri recognizes that his subconscious refusal to die is real, and that passion for life is what makes her give him the deal. Go and get the elixir and get your pardon. Before they set sail, they have to run a brutal screening process first though. 12 death row convicts, each paired up with an Asaemon chaperone. This quickly devolves into a bloody, chaotic free-for-all, establishing the series' golden rule: don't get attached. We meet the rest of the A-team, and they are wild. Yuzuriha of Keishu, the master of Konoichi. She's got the charm, the fan service, and the pure tactical cynicism. She's a master of manipulation who will smile, flirt, and ask you to join her in a bath, and then steal your spine while you're thinking about her swimsuit. She is the pure, chaotic, self-interested type, but she's an essential force of levity and information gathering. The Aza brothers, Chobei and Toma. Chobei is the bandit king, a pure, unadulterated force of nature. His defining philosophy, the best quote in the show arguably, is, "Nothing will ever be allowed to have any say in how we live, not even death itself." He and his brother, Toma, are ride-or-die siblings, and Chobei's conviction is so strong you just know he's going to literally challenge the laws of life and death later on. Rokurota, the giant of Bizen. a literal mountain of a man, driven by sheer bloodlust and cannibalistic urges. He serves to immediately raise the stakes. Sagiri, having a brief moment of conviction and self-acceptance, helps the other Asaemon slice him down, proving that maybe, just maybe, she can overcome her anxiety when the stakes are literally life or death. The screening wraps up and a bunch of randos are dead. The body count is high, and the survivors realize that this is gonna be worse than any execution. They land on the island of Shinsenko, and it is bizarre. It's supposed to be paradise, but it's a terrifying, beautiful mashup of giant, deadly flowers and grotesque insect-human hybrid moments. The entire island is trying to turn you into a lovely piece of floral home decor, a process called arborification. This setting, with its contrast between ethereal beauty and visceral horror, is why the show works so well. Gabimaru and Sagiri get separated by the plot, naturally. Sagiri ends up with Yuzuriha and another executioner, Genji. Genji is instantly suspicious of Yuzuriha, treating her like a walking temptation rather than a threat, and because he was too focused on sexual repression and mistrust, Genji gets instantly liquidated by a flower monster. Yeah, rule number 1, don't get attached. Rule number 2, focus on the monster and not the flirt. The island forces the executioners to confront their flaws. The Asaemon are supposed to be detached instruments of justice, but only by forging genuine, albeit complicated bonds with the convicts can they survive. Sagiri starts to realize this truth. The mid-season hits us like a train with the arc of Tenza and his blind master, Shion. Tenza is the sweetest, most decent, pure-hearted guy in the entire cast, and we all know what happens to the pure-hearted ones in Mappa shows. They are doomed. They run headfirst into the island's self-proclaimed gods, the Tensen. These guys are the actual big bads. They are immortal, androgynous beings who fluidly switch between male, yang, and female, yin forms, and they are stunningly powerful and serene until they aren't, and they can literally turn you into a flower with a single touch, a display of horrific power that is just as beautiful as it is grotesque. Tenza confronts the Tensen Mudan and gets humbled hard. He realizes he is completely outclassed, so he decides that if he can't win, then he can at least make his death count. Tenza pours every ounce of his being into defending Shion and the young convict Nurugai. He gets covered in blooming flower wounds, fully arborified, but he uses his final moments to create a diversion, sacrificing himself completely to ensure that Shion and Nurugai survive. His last internal thought is heartbreaking. My fingertips are getting cold, but from the chest up, it almost feels like I'm on fire. I won't let that monster kill all 3 of us. I'll buy them time. It's a moment of devastating, beautiful sacrifice that validates Tenza's short journey and ensures that Shion, the blind master, is now fueled by vengeance and the need to protect his new charge, Nurugai. Tenza's sacrifice is the point where the show steps past being a simple battle royale and introduces its core philosophical power system, Tao. Tao is everything. The energy of life, balance, flow state, yin and yang, qi, the whole philosophical kitchen sink. Before the island, Shion, who was able to sense internal energy, called it waves, but now they formalize it. The Tensen use it perfectly because they are engineered to be balanced beings. If you don't master your Tao, you're dead. Shion, now blind and forced to rely on his internal senses, becomes the group's reluctant instructor on the 5 elements of Tao: wood, fire, earth, water, and metal. While Shion is learning the fundamentals, simultaneously the Aza brothers run into another pair of Tensen, Tao Fa, yin form, and Ju Fa, yang form. Chobei, who fears neither man nor God, decides the best course of action is to try and overpower them, and naturally he gets immediately exposed to the Tensen's magical poison and starts turning into one of those flower abominations. The arborification process in full swing. But remember Chobei's mantra, nothing will ever be allowed to have any say in how we live? Not even death itself? Chobei doesn't die. He doesn't give in. He is so psychopathically determined to live freely that he literally incorporates the arborification poison into his own body. He becomes a grotesque, terrifying hybrid, proving his mantra true. The Bandit King just got a power up by turning into a hostile shrubbery of doom. It's a moment of pure, raw, aggressive willpower. Meanwhile, Sagiri is also finally finding her footing. Her internal struggle perfectly mirrors the requirements of Tao. Her self-doubt, yin, is needed to achieve the tranquility and the flow state necessary to wield her executioner sword, yang. She finds out she possesses stabilizing wood Tao, which Shion notes is highly compatible with Gabimaru's explosive fire Tao, giving their partnership a philosophical justification for survival. The surviving members, Sagiri, Shion, Yuzuriha, Fuchi, Gantetsusai, and Nurugai, band together, realizing survival depends entirely on collaboration. They fight Mudan again. Senta, another executioner who is nice and quiet and therefore destined to die, figures out the Tensen's fatal weakness, the ovule, the flower core in their heads. Senta makes the ultimate sacrifice, using his final moments to create an opening for Shion, and Shion cuts the ovule and Mudan dies, finally released from his millennia-long torment. But the reprieve is short-lived. The entire motivation of the series, the fire in Gabimaru's soul, is called into question. Gabimaru has to survive while fighting the existential dread that he might be fighting for a ghost. And to cap off the season, Gabimaru, after overexerting his newfound Tao power, wakes up in the care of the mysterious little girl, Mei, with total amnesia. He doesn't remember Yui, he doesn't remember his mission, and his Tao is incomplete because his mind is a blank slate. The world's strongest ninja is now a memoryless potato. The shogunate, impatient with the mess, sends a terrifying new high-ranking executioner named Shugen to the island to clean up the whole expedition. Before I move ahead, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And that's Season 1, a relentless, brutal, philosophical bloodbath that ends with Gabimaru needing a memory stick and Sagiri needing a very long nap. The stage is set perfectly for Season 2, which is confirmed to cover the Lord Tensen and Hodai Palace arcs. Season 1 was a masterclass in establishing the rules, the stakes, and the deep emotional roots of the characters. Season 2 promises to throw all that into a meat grinder and see what survives. We're moving from philosophical survival to outright mythological warfare, and I for one cannot wait to see Gabimaru get his memories back and unleash that fire Tao. Get ready for chaos because it's going to be messy.